For 13 years now, there has been a day in my life when my heart beats faster. I know this rhythm. Every movement is perfected to the smallest detail. Equipment, minimal clothing, technique. It's the time when I set out to meet adventures. Amazing, exciting, shocking. The places where the most important and interesting things happen. Where history is made. But in year 2022, everything has changed. I stay to tell the story of my home country, which is struggling and still living. A country that is now at the center of the world's attention. The world inside out, Ukraine. The world inside out with Dmytro Komarov, Ukraine. Detonation, let's go! We hope everything is okay, most importantly with the people. Almost a third of Ukraine is planted with explosives. This is, for example, like 2 Austria or 5 Moldova. In the ranking of the most mined countries in the world, we are in the first place. In this terrible list, Ukraine has already overtaken Afghanistan, Mozambique and even Cambodia. We just drove a little bit on the grass and it went off. How many times does a sapper make a mistake? Twice, the second is the last. Every day some Ukrainians get blown up by ammunition. And if you go for a run, is it filled? God forbid. There is a critical shortage of professional sappers, so farmers try to clear their fields of mines of their own. I was driving and went flying. And all this for the sake of putting bread on our tables. Ordinary everyday life of Ukrainian farmers to watch that the tractor doesn't hit a missile.
So that our children have something to eat because it was very hard.
The world inside out, the Dmytro Komarov, Ukraine. Every day, each of us goes to the store and buys bread. We know the price of bread. Yes, we do. In terms of money, but we have no idea what the real price is. Today we're going to meet some fearless heroes and hear some scary stories about how expensive bread really is today. And believe me, after watching this footage, you will treat bread in a completely different way. Even when the Ukrainian army liberates the territories, they remain dangerous. Hundreds of people are killed and injured when they come across explosives. Fields are especially mined, so farmers are in no position to enter their own land. However, Ukrainian creativity is unstoppable. Today, the world inside out has come to a place where there are usually no prying eyes. Here, in a place that we cannot name, secret tests of a unique machine developed by our farmers are underway. How did you get the idea to create this? We are farmers, and we're approached by paratroopers who said, we have seen the farmers are already clearing mines themselves, and we need such machines, rollers that will be useful, that will save lives, save equipment. You can see how interesting it is. The military turned to people who are engaged in agriculture and asked them to invent something to clear other places, not just fields, using their experience in clearing fields. Just think about how cool our farmers are, that the military is asking them for help. This device is simple and ingenious at the same time. This is how this demining machine looks like when assembled. Here is the front roller. 1, 2, 3. Today we have a unique opportunity to see the first tests of this demining machine. This roller weighs about 80 kilograms. One rubber product absorbs mines. Due to the fact that here, firstly, rubber and secondly, a lot of holes, it is like a shock absorber. Absolutely. Even if it's a tank mine, it will still take it on. Now we're going to test the wheel and see how the device will behave. The test drive of the innovation takes place in several stages. First, we put 200 grams of TNT under the wheel. Why did you choose 200 grams? This is an anti-personnel mine. It's a fire method of ignition. And then the run, right? Attention, ignition. It started. Now it's Oleksandr, over there. We have to move 50 meters away and watch. It flew about 5 meters up. We approach. Our camera survived. Usually, a mine-clearing machine is no longer suitable for further use after an explosion. It's damaged, so it will still do. We can still use it, of course, maybe a little more charge. Let's double it. 400. It's like when the kids at school would blow up things. Let's do more. Everyone is excited, so we're doubling the charge. 400 grams of TNT. Let's see how this rubber wheels holds up. Let's move away from it. Explosion. Unfortunately, this is the world inside out today. Wow, it flew up. It blew up pretty good. Come on. It's operational. It's still going. It will, won't it? Yes. You see, despite a double charge, it has the right to live and will continue to work. Cool. The work of our farmers is showing amazing results. The decisive moment has come. It's time to test the whole structure on the move. Over there, near the forest, explosives have already been set up. Half a kilo of TNT. We will see if it can withstand it. We wish you success and good luck. Thank you. You will see everything in a moment. We will stand at a safe distance. Here in the middle of the road, you can see the detonator from anti-tank mine, and here's where the explosion will occur. That's it. Move away. You can start moving. Copy that. Now the Humvee is moving, approaching 30 meters to the mine. Approximately 10 meters to the mine. It's gonna go up. It's coming. Set. Detonation. Let's go and see what's going on. We hope everything is okay, most importantly with the people. It's an armored car, everything should be very good. Not just good, exceptional. Look, only the front wheel lifted and bent the structure a little bit. But in general, it worked really well. The car is intact, the pilot is intact. Come out. Congratulations to you. Was it scary? It looked scary, but look at the result. It's exceptional. Everything is fine. Congratulations, it definitely works. The broken wheel is not critical. We're going to fix it, and then we can continue to drive with this wheel. It's going to keep going on after the explosion. Let's see. Let's see. Can I drive it? Sure. Shall we try it? Let's go. Will it pull the structure when it's already blown up? And I lightly press the gas. And it's moving. It's driving perfectly. Everything is working. Everything is fine. Cool. I drove it off and we proved that it was possible. After the explosion, it can move even with this structure. I think this technology will be promoted, developed, and modernized. We need to set an example for the whole world in terms of rapid demining. We will not take decades. We will do it all extremely quickly. I have read forecasts of 70 years for demining. With such talented people living in Ukraine, of course, we will succeed much faster. There are actually reasons for such optimism. The invention is very cool. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, not all Ukrainian farmers can afford such expensive equipment. However, let's not forget that Ukrainians are a creative nation. So now there are dozens of skilled farmers who create their own versions of deminers with their own hands, from improvised tools, and all of this to sow and harvest bread. We see this kind of equipment. It looks like a tractor from a distance, but when we look closer, there is no driver. And in front of it, it's a strong metal structure. We will tell you what it's now, or rather ask the author of the idea. Hello, I'm Oleksandr Dmytriev. I'm Dmytro. We're in the village of Krakow. Until September 2022, the Russians were here, and the fields around are densely covered with mines and exploded shells of all kinds. We came to the enterprise of September 12th, when it was liberated. All our equipment was broken and looted, and the tractors were given to collaborators. And I see the workload of the State Emergency Service, that they do not have time. And the question arose, how are we going to enter the fields? And we started thinking about what to do. I saw on the internet imported vehicles that go to the mine with tractors in front, and based on this principle, what could we come up with? We took the rollers from one unit, the metal parts. There was a wrecked tank, and we took it from it. There were armored personal carriers on the Russia's territory, so we took some from these. The guys helped us put a hydraulic module with imported equipment, gave us a joystick, and we operated it. The guy who loved to play with cars as a child is now the best at driving this tractor. It's fantastic. So this miracle tractor is essentially a big machine on a remote control. The operator controls it remotely, so when a deminer hits a mine, the person is not in danger. Now we'll show you this miracle of technology in action. Of course, we'll do it on an already cleared field so that we can safely examine the invention. This design is like knives, right? Yes. When it hits a mine, all the explosions go under this roller, and the whole explosion damages the roller. The explosion passes through here. It does not damage the tractor. The tractor remains intact. This is the armor for the tractor, right? Armor is next to it, and we did this to make it heavier. The whole system weighs about 3.5 tons. What is made of these rollers? We took these rollers, there is a chopping unit that chops sunflower. We modified it a little bit and put it in front to do the demining. As you can see, there was an explosion here, and it's already bent. This is caused by an anti-tank mine. Yes, it is. It exploded here and bent it. And when an anti-tank mine explodes, does it damage this part, but everything else holds? This gets blown apart, but this defense remains intact. Can we climb up here for a ride? Sure. I've never ridden like this before, only with Dmytro Komarov can you do it. The main thing is that you clear the area of mines, because if you didn't, I don't want to joke about it. No matter how much we admire the inventors, remember, it's extremely dangerous to repeat this. It's only allowed to go to the areas where military operations were conducted after the SES checks. It's a deadly risk. Now we'll see who the driver really is. It doesn't happen without the driver. The driver is there. He's up there. You can see the bucket of the excavator. The pilot is there. This is how they clear mines. Why is he up there? So that the signal could reach further. It's cool. Stop it, Paulo. This is a real command post. Look, there is a monitor, a battery, a radio, and a control panel. Here's my suitcase. I'm disassembling it, connecting the antenna first. There's a signal, so we can work. We squeeze the clutch. This is the clutch. Yes, it is. You can see the pedal being pressed. There's the gas. Here, yes, you have to add a gas gradually. Let's get up there. Pablo, please press the clutch. And now let's show our millions of viewers how to press the gas. And then let go of the gas. That's brilliant. You see, we're going up. The antenna amplifies the signal and you can control it remotely over a long distance. What is the maximum distance? It's up to 2 kilometers. What is the purpose of the camera? It's my reference point, so I don't miss any parts of the field. And as you can see, yes, the camera helps to orientate. I can also see a part of the rocket and the rest of the screen so that I don't run over it and damage the equipment. This is ordinary everyday life for Ukrainian farmers. You just have to make sure that the tractor doesn't run over the missile. And this is not a joke now. Unfortunately, this is our reality. May we try it? Sure. Does the boss allow it? Yes. Great. It won't crash. I think it's okay. Yes, it is. As boys grow up, they still have their toys. Only the size changes. But of course, it's not a joke. What the farmers do is not fun at all. The consequences can be fatal. I see holes here. It's from the explosion. Yes, this is when a wheel is blown up and then everything breaks. That's why this is damaged. Tell us how it happened. Why did the system in front of it didn't work? Until midsummer, the rollers worked very well. They cut the weeds and all the mines that came across. 5 of them were detonate on the rollers. And in the middle of the summer, the weeds grew tall and they became hard. So when the skating rink runs over it, it makes a cushion and it doesn't press through it, and the mine doesn't explode. Yes, the tractor runs over the mine with its wheel and the mine explodes under the tractor. When I started doing this, I didn't think how dangerous it is. I think some of the farmers may try to repeat your experience, and I think we have to warn them. It's very dangerous. When the explosion occurs, the parts of the roller fly about 50, 60, 70 meters. So the operator who's walking is at a distance of about 100 meters and you can't get closer. This is the most frightening thing. Guys, just imagine this is flying around and this weighs, ooh, it's like a rocket. Like pieces of a rocket that will just cut a person to pieces. When we are blown up, we call the state emergency service, we call the military sappers, and they start searching the area. And as a rule, it's a minefield. Each explosion means big costs. It's a huge job again, yes. And it's a big pause in production for a month. How many times has this tractor been blown up? 8 times it has been blown up. 5 of them were the installation, the rollers, we changed it. Just changed it, yes. And 3 times, the last time the tractor blew up. So it was completely destroyed, yes. Over these 8 explosions, how much territory did you clean of mines? 1,600 hectares. So it was probably worth it. Yes, it will say that. The first explosion happened on March 13th. A tractor that was approaching exploded in front of me. It was Mykola Popelych who was blown up. How's he? His leg was injured. Thank God it was only shrapnel. Anatol Saban was blown up, a cassette exploded under his rims. Volodymyr Shvets was injured. He hit an anti-tank mine. He's alive and well. This is horrible. These are just some of your friends. Today, Ivan Nagorny ran over a PVM. The PVM turned off a tire. This is Yuri Kotik. He miraculously survived and forever remembered that it was like to blow up in your own tractor when you hit an anti-tank mine. You're still breathing, but there is no way to get out because minutes go by and you don't know whether you're going to survive or not. when you can't do anything yourself. Thank God there were guys near me who helped me, dug me out. Dust, glass in my mouth. I touched it, moved my legs, fine, my arm, fine, but my right arm did not move. It was jammed. What was it jammed with? I was turned over. The manipulator in the cabin covered me, crushed me. What were your first thoughts? I have to live. I have to live. I had to fight for my life. I thought, how could I do that? How much I had harvested, how much I had cleaned, how my life could have ended so easily, and maybe even the lives of those people I had brought to the field. You're lucky to be alive. The moment, before and after, when people say, you got blown up by an anti-tank mine and this is how it happened, I say, fortunately, the Lord had mercy. I only damaged my shoulder and arm, but I didn't get burned or shredded. People get blown up here almost every day. Sometimes whole families suffer. I have 2 sons-in-law. My oldest son-in-law is an airborne assault company commander. During the storming of Dmytro River, he was blown up by a mine. My younger son-in-law is an engineer. He was driving a car and hit an anti-tank mine. The car was blown up, but he survived. That's it, only in your family. That's terrible. 3 people in your family were blown up by mines. We have had 3 blow-ups, but the thirst for the liberation of Ukraine, for a peaceful life, never left us. Many of Yuri's friends can also tell you how they got blown up. Today, this is the everyday life of Ukrainian farmers. This is Mykola. He has a slight limp of his left leg. Mykola, hello. Hello. Please tell us about that day. What can I tell you? I was driving and went flying. I hit an anti-tank mine. I didn't even hear the explosion. I looked up and saw a tractor lying there. Is this the tractor? Yes, Mykola was blown up on that tractor. I pulled him out of here, from here. Yes, his leg were here, see? I climbed up here. You see, there's just such a huge hole here. If the fragment went through this huge hole, if it had gone through half a meter further, that would have been it. I looked there, I leaned over to the right side, looking at the front wheel. If I had been looking at this side, my head would have been torn off. You were born under a lucky star. The day before yesterday, we had a car on the road, and he turned off a guy delivering lunches. He got burned by an anti-tank mine. He died? Yeah. It's a shame. So, friends, we can see that death is right next to us from any side on the road. In total, Yuri found more than 200 anti-tank mines in a year. He has even stopped counting other smaller explosive devices. There are PFMs on this field. I was in the car and drove down on the grass a little bit. It went off and the wheel was torn. Also PFM, yeah. It's scary, guys. Here we are, and this is not yet demined. If you go for a run in this field, God forbid, you are guaranteed to die or be injured or crippled. Yes. Oh. This is the field we're cultivating. I can see that it's clean to the horizon. And here you see a farmer's field who is probably afraid to go there today. There were 3 explosions in this place, and here is one of the fragments. Look, I kept it. It's just nails. These are darts. God forbid you should get hit by such things. It's horrible. Look at that. Imagine it's from this field. I will even lean on the hood. It's very heavy. It weighs around 10 kilograms. What an inhuman weapon. It's a rare thing. I've never seen anything like this. It just destroys everything around. It falls and cuts everything with these nails. Where should I put it? There on the 3 where it was. It's like an open-air museum. Scary things. And now it's even scarier. Hello. Hello. What's your name, please? Sergey. Can I climb in with you? Sit down. Alexander, are you ready? No. No? Can I have the camera? No, let's go. Either the camera or let's go. Now we are driving a tractor across a demined field where they found explosive objects today to look at it. Is it a cluster munition? Yes, it is a cluster munition. It's quite serviceable and extremely dangerous. Guys, I'm looking from here, from the tractor, and I don't want to get down. Oh, the danger is here. There is a plastic sock here. God forbid you hit it. It's the fuse. The radius in tens of meters, right? About 20 or 25 meters. It's almost impossible to survive here we're now with the cameraman. If it detonates, it's impossible to survive. Please do not repeat what Yuri Kartik is doing. Today, most of the Kherson and Mykolaiv regions are deadly for farmers. This is about 8,000 square kilometers. Imagine, this is almost the area of Chornobyl region. This land is no longer suitable for agriculture, and both farmers and the State Emergency Service take risks every day to clear it of mines. Now we're approaching the village of blockade, which was almost completely destroyed during the active hostilities. It's just horrible. Everything is destroyed. There is simply no village. And all these fields we see around us are dangerous. And unfortunately, there are many such places in Ukraine now. It's immediately clear that we have entered a special territory. If we turn to this side, we see these red tapes. We use these tapes and stakes to mark the territory that is dangerous to enter. We made a safe passage here. 13 years ago, I was filming in Cambodia and saw these signs. Beware of mines. And we tried to film mine clearance with Khmer and Cambodian sappers. A few facts: every 20 minutes in the world, someone is killed or injured by a landmine explosion. In the early 20s, 80% of mine victims were military personnel. Today, 80% of the victims are civilians. One mine costs only $3, and it takes about 1,000 to defuse it. It seemed like something so far away. I could not imagine that in 13 years I would be walking very carefully in Ukraine, and Ukraine would be more mine than Cambodia, and that Russia would do it. At the time of shooting, the sappers had surveyed about 1,000 square kilometers of Ukrainian land. It sounds like a lot, but it's not much bigger than the area of Kiev, a drop in the ocean. We're still coming across ammunition from World War II, so it's likely that our great-grandchildren will still discover shells and mines from the current war. This field is literally stuffed with mines, and today we're going to clear it of mines together with a sapper team. This is the kind of story you might have seen on a Russian propaganda channel. Soldiers on an engineering unit of the Donetsk Republic are lined up in a chain and walking meter by meter, actor by actor, through fields where they still continue to find many unexploded shells. The journalist walks ahead of the sappers. Of course, this is impossible in real life, and today we will show you how they actually clear mines, not make fake stories when the cameraman and journalist walk backwards where they have not yet been cleaned. Have you seen this story on Russian television? It's completely nonsense. The ravings of a madman. It was just an irony over Russian propaganda, but in reality, journalists can only be at these distances, and we can't come any closer. The sappers teams consist of 5 or 6 people, and they manually examine every piece of land slowly and carefully, so as not to miss the smallest shell. Having found an explosive object, the sappers fence it off and then decide whether to detonate it here or take it to a mass neutralization site. What is it? An explosive device was found here in the clearing of the territory. It is a VOG, an under-barrel grenade. Yes, a fragmentation one. It's the fragmentation ammunition for under-barrel and handheld grenade launchers. And these same ones have also been used to drop from the drones of the enemy. You may have seen such videos. The weapon has a fragmentation body with notches. That's where the warhead goes. There's an explosive inside. Upon contact with the ground of another hard surface, the explosive breaks this upper shrapnel jacket and it scatters around for 5 to 10 meters. In addition, people who are around are injured. The closer you are, the more likely you are to die. This ammunition will be destroyed right here on the field, but during the war there are examples when a sapper has to risk his life to remove such deadly things. And the SES has special equipment for such situations, which they will demonstrate to me. Where do we start? With underwear. Underwear? This is important. These are Kevlar underpants to protect the groin. You can't put on a suit like this on your own. You need the help of your colleagues. One leg is done. I'm diving. This arm goes here, right? Got it? Now we have an astronaut Komarov. Front armor plate that protect the entire chest and groin. This suit is air-conditioned. An air-conditioned suit. This is going to be hot. By the way, this suit is made in Canada. This armored suit costs almost 3.5 million hryvnias. The previous model was without air condition. NATO soldiers wearing in it hot countries literally fainted. The manufacturers took this shortcoming into account and added the cooling function. This will be my internal server, the brain. The battery, the brain is here. The weight is so heavy, you know, that if you relax your neck, your head drops right away, because there is such a weight on my head. Okay, let's see how it works. Oh, there is a noise in my ears and the air conditioner is on. Everything is blowing inside. The control panel, what do I have? Lighting. Lighting for what, exactly? On the helmet. There are spotlights on the helmet. So you can shine a flashlight in front of you. Yeah. There's an air in the helmet to make it comfortable. Yes, it blows air inside the helmet. Now we'll lower the visor. Don't put your fingers under it. It can break them. Is it armored glass? Yes, we take the device. When you turn off the air conditioner, it really gets hot very quickly. I turn the air conditioner back on. That's better. Then we go to the field, literally. I was not just dressed up. This is a special task. It's very hard to walk. How much does this suit weigh? About 35 kilograms. 35, and the helmet 10 kilos. So what's the task? We have prepared this site. There's an explosive device there. I'm not going to tell you what kind of explosive device it is, but when you find it, you'll have to tell me. And I have to find it myself, yes. So set the sensitivity to 10. Take the mind probe. By the other hand, my job is to find it. Yeah. Okay, I am off. A sapper in such a suit works alone, one-on-one with explosives. The task is to find it, recognize it, and then, if possible, defuse it yourself, otherwise call for help. I feel the vibration on my hand, and this is a sound. It's very strong here, as strong as possible. It's just screaming here. Look, I hear a sound here, very loud. What should I do next? What's the right thing to do? Then we take a probe at 45 degrees and check for presence. Is there anything there? No, there is nothing there. Why is the metal detector screaming so loudly? When we're in the field where there were hostilities, shell fragments fly around the field. They also create a background. In this case, there is no ERW here. And so step by step we have to check every inch of the field. The work is painstaking and hard. There is a sound here. A sound? It's stronger here. There is something there. I can feel it. What do we do next? We put the metal detector aside. Okay. On one knee. Okay. And then approximately in the square where the signal was, we begin to carefully remove the top layer of soil. Gently. Gently. I hope this is a training one. Of course it is. But it's scary. Even knowing that it's a training one, it's scary. Now you see me performing a training task that our project has planned together with the Mykolaiv region SES to more clearly demonstrate the danger that lies in the fields today and to which every sapper and farmer exposes themselves today. We hope what we'll show will help someone's life. The training mine was specially hidden in advance, but in exactly the same way as real ones. This is the only way to show you details of demining. What kind is it? I don't know much about it. It's made of plastic as much as possible, both the mine and the fuse. There is a minimum of metal in it. It seems to me that if it explodes, this suit will not save me from such an anti-tank mine. It won't save you at all. It's just nothing. Nothing? The tank will explode and the suit will explode. Yeah. This suit makes sense when you're dealing with unknown objects or you know for sure that something is small, right? Yeah. Can you open the visor for me so I can breathe? Because it's very difficult to breathe to talk. I'm turning off the air conditioner. Then the usual algorithm of work follows, right? Yes. Can I see how it goes? Given that this was a reenactment, of course, it was a training mine search, I put on this suit on purpose to demonstrate the specific of this work and show you how difficult it is, how dangerous it is. And now a professional will show you how to remove an anti-tank mine, for example. You need to carefully check around the mine itself with a probe of any objects that may be around it. Do not, under any circumstances, try to replicate what you see on the screen. It's deadly and should only be done by professionals. When we have checked the soil around the mine itself, we begin to carefully free the mine body from the soil using a demining shovel. Here it is, an anti-tank mine. Here it is. When we have freed the upper part of the mine itself, we did dig under the mine itself. The digging is done so that we can install what we can grab now, hook the mine and remove it. We do all this slowly, gently, so as not to move the mine itself. Please rate on 10-point scale how much risk a sapper takes when doing this kind of work. If 0 is no risk at all and 10 is the maximum, it's hard to say. How many times does a sapper make a mistake in his life? Twice. The second one is the last. And the first one? The first one is when he chooses a profession. And then what? Next we take a grapnel. A grapnel fills is just a rope and hook like this. It will help you to pull out a mine. Let me show you how it works. We take the grapnel on 2, right? It's better on 2. This is how the grapnel is fixed with 2 prongs. There's always a risk that another mine may be hidden under the mine, a so-called trap, so we hook the grapnel and move away. And then we move away unwind the rope to a safe distance so that the sapper himself is not injured by the debris. He had to move as far as possible and hide somewhere a ground level, preferably lower, in some kind of shelter. We don't have any shelter. The rope is conditionally taken over the shoulder with both hands. And you fall, right? The sapper falls in the direction of the pool. At the moment of falling, he pulls, and if there is an explosion, he will already be lying on the ground. Let me try it. 1, 2, 3. Fortunately, there was no explosion because it was a training mine, and now we have to help the sapper to get up because he has extra 60 kilos, I think. Let's go help him. A heavy sapper. Let's see, I didn't see it. The mine that was pulled out. This is what it looks like. It's a training mine. This is for the sappers to learn. Thank you for this unique experience. I rely on you to get up. And this is in the literal sense, but in the figurative sense, the whole Ukraine relies on you, on the SES, because thousands of lives are saved thanks to the SES. Thank you for your service. We serve the Ukrainian people. It should be added that this suit is rarely used. Usually sappers work in ordinary bulletproof vests. And even with all the safety measures, nothing guarantees survival, because the enemy often sets traps and deliberately places hidden explosives in places where the sapper is likely to hide. At the end of each working day, the sappers have to destroy everything that could be taken out and collected in one place. This is the daily work of the SES, so in many regions you can regularly hear explosions caused by demining. Where will the explosion take place? Over there. That's it. Now we will be a controlled explosion of the ammunition that you have collected in the field. This is a shelter. Yes, it is. So we are controlling this explosion from here. The cameraman and I will also be watching the explosion from the shelter, because deadly debris can reach here. Stand by 30 seconds. Stand by 15 seconds. 15. 5 seconds. 5. Ready. Fire. Explosion. Explosion. Yes, you can see the explosion very clearly. You can see the smoke. That's how quickly all the ammunition was destroyed. Fortunately, the field is demined and farmers can already start working in this place. But there are still many places that are not demined, and this work, unfortunately, will go on and on. In order to protect yourself from explosive devices, you need to at least know what they look like. We're in Mykolaiv, where the SES has collected a large collection of different mines. Of course, all I'm going to show you now are neutralized or training samples. Here, friends, at the SES base in Mykolaiv, we'll see the same training mine that I diffused in training. There are many more samples here, and we're going to show you in a very simple and clear way which is the most dangerous. Meet Mr. Anton, a sapper who is with us today. Hello. Hello. Let's start with what we saw in the fields. Here's an anti-tank mine. Any vehicle, car or tractor can run over it and it explodes. What kind of force does it take? How many kilograms? Starting from 100. I've seen some stupid videos somewhere where someone shows off and says, it detonates only from heavy machinery, so I can jump on it. And they do. I would not advise to do that. This is an explosive object that can be triggered even by a person's pressure. So you should not do that. Of course not. There are many booby traps. Here are one of them. ML8. It's installed under the mine. Show me how. It's pressed down by the mine. When someone tries to lift it, the process of detonation begins. We all know that an F1 grenade is. If you see one, don't touch it, don't come near it. What's next today on the list of dangerous and widespread explosive devices? Among those that would be dangerous to humans, I would mention this one. What's that? It's a cassette element, cumulative. We all know that missiles are fired at Ukraine from Russia. They're missiles that hit objects, houses, and explode. And they're missiles that carry so-called cassettes. It scares it, covers a certain sector, and these cassettes fall. They should explode immediately, but there are many reasons why they remain on the ground. So the enemy's task is to cover as much ground as possible with explosives using cluster munitions. This is the Tornado S, the latest development. This is the part of the missile that carries the cluster munitions. How many cassettes are there? 646. So if it doesn't explode, it just stays like this, lying on the ground. Yes. It looks just like a toy. You don't know when it will go off because the mechanism of self-destruction and delay is very insidious. The most dangerous thing that exists now for civilians, for ordinary people, it's very common. This is a PFM-1 mine, a butterfly, a lepidstock in Russian. You can't see it at all in the grass. A little pressing causes a detonation. That is, in the grass, you don't even have to step on it. Just touch it with your shoe and it detonates. There were many cases. We just came from Kharkiv region. Kharkiv region is heavily mined with this. It was in the Kharkiv region that I first saw one in person when real demining was taking place in the city of Balaklia on the first day after the occupation. A butterfly is a Soviet-made anti-personnel mine. It's with these mines that Russians remotely sow vast territories. Some mines self-destruct within 3 days, and they're the ones that can wait for their victims for years. Fire! Let's throw it into the grass here. Just imagine, it's almost the color of the grass. As a result of the detonation, if you step on it with your foot, for example, the lower limb is torn off. There were many cases when the sole of the foot was torn off, but they had to cut off the leg almost to the knee because the bone was shredded. And what about children? This is the worst thing for children. I don't even want to imagine it. I think it would be fatal. I mean, a child can pick it up, take it in his hand, press it. It could happen. There's also a moment of self-destruction, so you don't have to press it. It can detonate by itself. Yeah. What else is dangerous for humans is two mines, PRM2 and PRM3. These are installed remotely. The top cover shoots off. This one, yeah. And these guides metal springs spread out in 4 directions. It requires 300 grams of force. What's the range? The lethal range is 10 meters. The wounding range is 16 to 20. The tube contains 4 mines like this. You put it on a device connected and it sets it with a shot remotely. When it comes out of the tube, like this one, let's back it up. This is how it is, right? Here it's closed. Then it goes here and into the container. So it comes out like this, falls down, shoots out like this once. This lid flies off, and I don't want to get hurt, but it unfolds like this. And if it was lying down, it will rise due to the springs. Yes, that's what these legs are for, to make it stand up. You see, it stands up. It's a terrifying thing. This is one a little different. It's not trigger, there is a control board. There is a seismic sensor, so it reads your steps, lets you come to a certain distance, then the process of jumping out, and then it explodes in the air. That is, it senses the vibrations of the ground. This container remains standing, the spin goes into the ground. When the boat gives the command to detonate, the lower explosive charge pushes it out. Detonation is all around. It's a very scary, insidious mechanism. It explodes in the air. here, and due to the fact that it's in the air, the damage is all around. Anti-personal mines are dangerous for everyone. 3 samples: anti-personal mine of pressure action. Pressurized, that's it, you step on it. Yes, the detonation, you step on it, you remove the layer, put it down and cover it with wood. It's very difficult to notice it. Let's show what it looks like. It's very primitive and simple. You put it in, then watch it like this. That's it. How do you know there's a mine? If you're unlucky and put your foot in the wrong place, it blasts. What weight is sufficient for detonation? The book says from 2.5 to 5 kilograms. That's even a child. Of course, even a dog can. A hare, if it runs a child. It's night. There was a situation when a man stepped on an anti-personal mine with his foot, fell on the other one with his hand. His leg was blown off, his arm was torn off up to the shoulder, and during evacuation he asked for one thing: to be killed. Horrible. Yes, especially when he asked to be killed. It was desperation in his voice. It was not very pleasant. Unfortunately, we have a lot of such cases. It's horrible, just horrible. What is this? This is a MON-90 mine. I read about such mines that there are several thousand small fragments. Yes, a lot of them. We can even open it now and see what kind of fragments there are. Okay. Here. These little nails, each of these things is a small metal element that simply pierces a person. It's fatal for a person within a radius of 25 meters. This is less obvious to me, for example. I don't know what is it. Some kind of tube, something like that. If you see it, you'll never think it's dangerous. Of these 3 mines, I would probably put this one in the first place. It's called PTM-1, an anti-vehicle or anti-tank mine. When pressed even with your foot, an explosion can occur. For a human being, we had cases when a farmer went to the field, saw the mine like this, it was broken, there was half of it, he came up, kicked it, and he was gone. That is, they found only half of him, about 10 meters away. So if you see something like that, you run away. Yes. This will not happen to me. Many people think so, but unfortunately we see that people are being blown up in Ukraine. In order not to get on that list of victims of a blast, you have to be careful and probably give up something important to you. What advice can you give to people in places that have already been deoccupied or there was no occupation but the fighting was very close? What to do? Children want to go for a walk, play football. Parents want to go mushroom picking in the forest. A farmer wants to do his job, and you don't know what is there. What are the tripwires? You don't go anywhere untested because life is more important. If you want to go mushroom picking, you have to consider, I may go mushroom picking and have fun, but there is a high risk that I will die, so it's better not to go there. It's the same with children. Maybe in the field where they play soccer, there's this butterfly or that tripwire and OZM, whatever. Yes, it's better not to risk it. It's better to go somewhere else to pick mushrooms. Play football at a school stadium and never risk your life. It's important to choose the most important thing. The most important thing is life. You know, honestly, this is a difficult conversation. All these are samples, they're not mines, but you say that you cannot see the butterflies in the grass. It just reacts to your steps. These anti-personal mines are buried right under the grass, under the sand. You won't see it if it's hidden properly, there is a very big risk, a huge risk of getting blown up. It's very scary and nothing can be done. We just have to recognize that this is our new reality, that we are the most mined country in the world, and we all need to be very careful, especially with children. This is all death, and all of this can happen anywhere in Ukraine where there has been hostilities or occupation. We need to learn to live in a new way. We need to learn to never forget that there is such a danger under our feet. I'm very grateful to you for your selfless. Please be careful, please. Thank you very much. Another life-saving tip from the SES: never turn to the so-called black sappers, fraudsters, who offered to clear a field of garden or mines for money. In the Kiev region, we came across such guys. They were traveling around the village. Who are you? We are sappers. The uniforms are any uniforms that be available in any store without insignia. We are here on business. We look and see them in the one woman's garden, another one. I know how I used to search for coins, and now I'm going to demine the territory. Here comes to an old lady. I'll demine your garden for 100 hryvnias. The old lady's happy. She gives him lost money, and he says, haven't found nothing, it's clear. And then the old lady. And then there are possible explosions because tractors come to cultivate the gardens at first. They didn't find a mine, the tractor dove in and it blew up. So the main message is that if you buy a metal detector on the internet, it doesn't mean you're a sapper, and it doesn't give you any safety guarantees. Of course it doesn't. I spent several months studying how professionals and amateurs demine the land, risking death every day, and realized how priceless everything that the demined fields give us today and what farmers are working on has become. Try to think about this when you buy a load of bread. Maybe it's made from the very flour of which the field was demined, or maybe someone was injured or even killed for this flour. When our grandmothers told us how much they appreciated bread during World War II, we did not understand their feelings because it seemed that bread was always available in stores and there could no longer be a shortage in the 21st century. But it was most people thought before February 24, and they will never think this way again in many cities that were under occupation.
When the war broke out, there was no food, there was nothing. We baked bread from whatever we could. I even have some artifacts from that time.
Will you show it to me?
Yes.
People just keep these things in the freezer to remember the terrible times.
This is when there was no flour, no yeast, nothing, and the girls made this bread. It's something I'm sure I'll have forever.
Forever?
Yes.
These were the bread coupons. Wow, bread coupons. One loaf of bread. Yes, once a week we had the right to get to buy bread. Once a week, one loaf of bread, yes. For one person, for a family, or two people. This is Slavutych, a satellite town of the Chornobyl nuclear power plant, which was built as an alternative to Pripyat after the tragedy of '86. In the year 22, it was under occupation and blockade. We can call it an island city because it's surrounded by forest of all sides, and there's the only one road leading to this city. In February of the 2022 year, after Russian troops occupied the village of Mikhailo-Kotsubinsk, which is located on this road, the town was left in complete isolation. My aunt was a blockade survivor, and she told me about the 100 grams of bread she received back then. Was it in Leningrad? Yes. And I realized that we had less than 100 grams a day. That's it. The Russians, who talk everywhere about the siege of Leningrad, made it even worse for Ukrainians. Yes. Slavutych found itself under siege without access to basic necessities like medicine and food. Bread disappeared from the shelves first, because it was not produced here but imported. It was followed by other products. The city was on the verge of starvation. Residents began to think about where to get some kind of flour. It was brought in from the surrounding villages via secret forest paths that only the locals knew about and the enemy did not. Since there is no bakery in the city, city, ordinary supermarkets started baking bread. These 3 bakeries that supplied the city started working. These stores helped us out a lot. People stood in long lines for hours in the cold to buy bread that was baked right in the stores. We ran out of bread in 2 hours maximum. There was not too much of it anyway. The flour from the neighboring villages was meant for animals. It was coarsely ground with sand and earth, and there was no other kind. Here, dear friends, you can make a very clear comparison. This is called animal flour, this one, and this is the highest quality flour. Here they are side by side, and when you hold them in your hands, the difference becomes very obvious.
Here they mix it for pigs. It's compound feed.
So it's just for pigs?
Yes.
And this is salt?
Yes. When we ran out of regular salt because everything was taken off the shelves, we had salt for the roads in winter, and it was so dirty with sand in it. Then my mom called and said, just mix it with water. Let the sediment settle and then just use salt water.
It's horrible. Salt used to sprinkle the roads.
And then we managed to bake with beer.
So you used beer instead of yeast?
There was very little yeast.
You brought beer now, didn't you?
Yes.
The store's employees decide to show us how during the blockade they made bread with flour for pigs, salt for roads, and beer instead of yeast. They're cooking now according to the same recipe, in the same place, and with the same secrets as in March of 2022, when these heroic women baked 1,000 loaves a day with their own hands, working in 2 shifts to help the city in some way. What emotions do you have when you think back to that period?
At first, it was a nightmare. How could we bake bread from pig's flour? The emotions are very heavy. It was like our entire city was cut off.
What was your main fear then?
The fear that we would go hungry. The fear that we would have nothing. It was very scary.
I really never thought that on our land in Ukraine we would face a situation of blockade, that there would be concentration camps, that there would be, in fact, on the first stage of famine, when there was not enough bread. It's very scary to realize all this and that this war is not over yet.
Yes.
You know, for me, these are historical images, and I think that everyone should look at it, see it, and remember throughout their lives at what cost we are gaining our independence and what a high price we have already paid and continue to pay. Is it a remnant? Let's make something out of it.
Okay.
Let's not let anything to go waste. I want to do something like this.
A heart.
A heart for Slavutych, for people who are invincible and stronger than any weapon. After 15 minutes in the oven, we can test the same Slavutych bread that was baked during the blockade. The smell is very good.
It smells like it did then. It tastes exactly the same.
I would say that it really smells not just like the bread we are used to, but it smells like fodder. But it smells delicious. I'm going to taste it.
The same as it was.
It's very tasty when it's hot. I would say it's dietary and eco-friendly. I like it. I can imagine how delicious it was at the time when there was very little bread. Indomitable people who will find a way out in any situation. No bread, it will be made from animal flour. No yeast, they will take beer. No salt, they will take the salt for roads.
For me, that bread was probably the most delicious in my life, because when you don't have it and you realize what those people did so that all of us could have bread, it's worth a lot. It was the most delicious bread I have ever tasted in my life. It was the most delicious because we dried it in the oven. We tried to cook anything to give our children something to eat, because it was very hard back then.
What are your strongest impressions of the period when there was no bread and the road was blocked? It was frightening.
I went to the store and saw nori sheets for sushi. That's it, and soy sauce, but even that was being sold out.
So you were buying things that you didn't need before.
Yes, we bought everything because we had nothing to eat. We also realized that if we lose something, even the smallest thing, we are already defenseless.
I hope that none of you will ever experience this again.
Let our future generations never experience anything like this.
The next episode of The World Inside Out Ukraine, we're exploring amazing natural phenomena and effects. A Ukrainian sensation. For the first time in the history of Ukraine, a flamenco was born. This is a significant event for the whole of Ukraine. Here's the first one. The elements show their character. An exclusive report by The World Inside Out from the epicenter of the largest flood in the last 10 years. Unfortunately, there's a puddle in the cabin. Give me a hand. Give me the camera. Our cameraman. It's flipping. I see. Nature versus civilization. Why people had to leave one of the highest villages in Ukraine and how to get there now. It's really extreme road. I think we'll go on foot. There is no civilization here. It's a completely zero. We will eat and drink what we have bought, and there is nothing except for grazing grass. That's it. The World Inside Out with Dmytro Komarov, Ukraine.